On February 22, 1943, near Sbeitla in Tunisia, a column of German M4 Sherman tanks, once American, rolled off the battlefield under their captors' control. The machine's familiar olive-drab hull, its turret still bearing the serial number USA 306-7641, became more than a battlefield prize. It was the first link in a covert intelligence chain stretching from the sand of North Africa to the forests of central Germany. In that cold morning light, engineers from the Heereswaffenamt, Army Weapons Office, watched as the captured Sherman was loaded aboard a transport ship bound for Kummersdorf. Overhead, the diesel roar of the Sherman's Continental R975 engine faded as its tracks slipped off the ramp. For the Germans this wasn't just salvage, it was the beginning of technical espionage. By April 1943 the Sherman sat in a quiet clearing in the German Reich, its turret pinned and crossed out with yellow chalk. M4A175 was the designation scrawled over the mantlet. Inside, the clatter of test instruments, the hiss of pneumatic jacks lifting the tracks, the metallic scrape of micrometers measuring armor thickness, the Germans methodically logged vehicle speed on inclines, track gouge in soft loam, engine vibration harmonics, turret ring backlash. A captured tank warehouse had become a laboratory of foreign design. German engineers noted that the Sherman embodies a type of strategy that is conceived in terms of movement, rather than heavy armor, with a relatively light powertrain and good internal space. This technical evaluation fed directly into an intelligence pipeline. Field units sent captured Shermans, captured radio logs, and broken parts back through the Heer's signals intelligence branches. At the same time, the Allied technical intelligence services mirrored this work. The U.S. and British armies compiled captured equipment dossiers throughout 1944–45 to learn from enemy gear. By late 1943, German engineers recommended changes to German anti-tank round design based on the Sherman's hull contours and hull front slope. Test firing a standard 75mm PaK-40 shell against the Sherman's glacis at 30 degrees incidence showed residual overpressure in the hull cavity that might allow infantry to survive a hit, an intelligence insight they quickly forwarded to production workshops. Meanwhile, in the forests of Hesse, a captured Sherman was used in mock combat against a Panther tank, to verify mobility assumptions and shock absorption qualities. Behind the technical tests, though, was a human chain. Scouts in Tunisia identified abandoned Shermans, recovery teams patched tracks and drove machines back to ports, intelligence officers flagged chassis numbers, documented paint codes and factory stamps, transport crews shipped the vehicle over the Mediterranean, engineers logged the data, signals intelligence analysts intercepted reports that German crews driving Shermans, sometimes as ARVs, armored recovery vehicles, were quietly noting ease of maintenance. As the Allies advanced in Normandy and the Ardennes in 1944–45, German units dragged Shermans into late-war defense, painted with Balkenkreuz and using deceptive tactics. One account describes a Sherman leading a German column in the dark, fooling American crews into thinking it was one of their own, before the German assault opened. After the war, captured German documentation revealed that the Sherman evaluation program had produced dozens of firing tables, suspension stress charts, thermal signature logs, and counterdesign recommendations. One German weekly noted, "The German High Command maintains a museum of captured tanks, test our enemy's machines, the results are embodied in long tabulations, and in recommendation to the designers of German counterweapons." In the end one Sherman chassis did more than fight. It taught an enemy engineer what made Allied tanks tick, what flaws they carried, and how to exploit them. That machine became intelligence. In its steel, in the hum of its engine, in the list of its serial numbers, the fate of war was being written. And for the crew of that original M4 in Tunisia, one moment they were allies, the next they were fodder for German data mining. The tracks they left in the sand marked not only retreat but the unveiling of hidden mechanisms of war. Smith, Kevin Daniel. War Winner, a reappraisal of the M4 Sherman tank in World War II. Master's Thesis, Middle Tennessee State University, 2013.